two conferences split. The FBS and the FCS split to lose back-to-back games when favored by 20 or more points in both. That's what happened to James Franklin. And our new friend is Josh Pate. And I was really interested and am interested to hear your insight. Let's start with that. When you first saw the news, it comes over. Franklin has been fired. What was the first thought that went through your mind?
Stunned. Pretty stunned, Greeny. You're talking about a guy who has been a pretty consistent winner. The biggest criticism on him was it's the 8th rung on the ladder. We want to be at rung 10. There's kind of a new reality in college football that I don't think a lot of people are picking up on, including administratively. And I'll get to that in a second. But to put into proper context what we're talking about here, this is a double-digit winning head coach, past 3 seasons, 2 playoff wins last year, been there 12 years. 15 days ago, as of yesterday, was in a top 5 overtime game with the lead against Oregon. And fast forward 15 days, and he's out of a job. And they're apparently so convinced at Penn State they can do better than him. They're going to pay him $50+ million not to coach there anymore. And I don't know if you see a sure thing that's definitively better than James Franklin out there. I don't. But my other instinct here is there's a new reality in college football. For a long time, your top 10 or so programs sort of got used to the idea that 9 wins, maybe 8 wins if your quarterback gets hurt, is the floor. That is not the truth anymore. That is not the truth for the best of the best programs out there, but you're still applying old school logic to the new landscape of college football. And I think like Florida learned getting rid of Dan Mullen, like Auburn learned getting rid of Gus Malzahn, there is a reality here that's rapidly changed. And I think the thinking has not evolved with the changing landscape on firing coaches.
Okay, and so that then brings us to the usual suspects. I had Heather and Paul on talking about this. I'll ask it to you. We see some of the names that are sort of out there in the Twitter sphere and whatnot. What do you expect this coaching search to look like?
Pat Kraft is tied at the hip in many ways with Matt Rule at Nebraska. They vacationed together. Matt Rule played there. One of the biggest knocks on Franklin when he got to Penn State is that is a very Letterman-driven type program. And there was a divide for a little while between Franklin and some of the Joe Paterno people, Franklin and some of the old school players. I think that eased over time, but I don't think you'd have an issue there with Matt Rule. The question is Matt definitively an upgrade? I don't know that he is. I think Matt Campbell at Iowa State, and you're just asking me personally, is a slam dunk ball coach. If you're just looking for a football coach who has done more with infinitely less, Iowa State is a very bad program historically. And that guy was in the Big 12 title game about 5 minutes ago. They have done incredible things there. And I think there are probably about 3 or 4 jobs he'd leave there for because he's pretty happy in Ames. I happen to think Penn State may be one of them. And frankly, Greeny, I don't think we're done. I think we're just getting started with how insane this coaching carousel cycle is going to be. So this is the first major one to come open. It's certainly not the last one to come open.
All right, and so a final thought on that. I don't know if sleeping giant is the right word, but you said Penn State is this close. Do you believe that they are a program that should be up here? The fans, the history, all of that suggests that Penn State should be competing for national championships every year. Is that still the reality in Happy Valley?
It's the reality they have invested to that degree. So if it's the reality, if I'm a Penn State fan, I got the whiteout T-shirt on this morning. If I'm a Penn State fan and I look down the road in Columbus, Ohio, the way they invest emotionally and financially is the way I invest. They probably have a little more money at Ohio State. It's negligible. We're plenty competitive enough. Yes, I understand holding my program to that standard. And they just cashed in on another national title down there. I get all that. I think it's okay to acknowledge all that and also acknowledge, man, there's a lot further we could fall here. Like maybe give James a chance to go 2.0 on us. That is not the case there, though.
Josh Pate, outstanding as always. We appreciate the time. Rex, what are you making these noises for over there? What?
Oh, excuse me, I got to take a call. You know what? Guys are missing. I think this guy at Indiana's the dude.
Curt Cignetti?
No question. Who's done a better job than him?
That name came up earlier this morning, Josh, super quickly. Do you think we'll hear that name?
Hey, listen, he makes as much at Indiana right now as Franklin was making at Penn State. And frankly, everyone just thinks it's a slam dunk that he'll leave Indiana. Let's check and see how desirable the Penn State job is to Curt Cignetti. I'm just out of what I've heard. Let's check on that before we assume he'd jump on the first thing smoking there.
Josh Pate, you're awesome. Wow. Thank you very much for jumping in here. We appreciate it.
That guy made that kind of cash. I should go to college.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch him walk right past you. Run fast,